So you're thinking about moving to Ashburn, Virginia, but you'd kind of like to know the pros and the cons about the area before you decide to make that big move? Well, in today's video, that's exactly what I'm going to be covering. I'm going to share the good and the bad, the pros and the cons about what it's really like to live in Ashburn, Virginia. If that's something that interests you, be sure to stick around because we're going to get after it right now. If this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, working, and playing in Northern Virginia, be sure to hit that subscribe button and tap that bell for notifications so that you'll never miss a video. My name is Amanda, and the team and I get calls every single day from people just like you looking to make their move to Northern Virginia, and we absolutely love it. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, reach out on social, whatever works for you. We've got your back when you're making that move to Northern Virginia. So as I mentioned, we're gonna be sharing the pros and the cons of living in Ashburn, Virginia today. And I'm going to start out with the cons. Con number one, surprise, surprise, cost of living. There is a joke amongst the locals here that it's not Ashburn, it's Cashburn, which I find really funny because Ashburn definitely is not exclusive on the list of high cost of living. That is a Northern Virginia thing, but it is a pretty funny nickname. Overall, living in Ashburn is going to run you 50% more than the national average for cost of living. And housing is where it really gets dicey. Housing is going to run you 128% more than the national average for the cost of housing. Transportation is also going to run you a bit more in Ashburn. That comes in at 26% higher than the national average. Con number two when living in Ashburn is the toll road and the Dulles Greenway. When you live in Ashburn, it is very difficult to avoid not getting on the toll road and the Greenway. They are easily accessible and will certainly save you on commute time because you won't have to cut all the way over to Route 7 or 28 to avoid the tolls. But the tolls do add up. If you are driving in, say, to DC from Ashburn, if you're getting on the Greenway and then going to the toll road, it's gonna run you over $10 just to go one way. So round trip, if you're doing that on a daily basis, that certainly can add up, and it's important to factor into your budget. Con number three is the traffic. And I will start out by saying, for the most part, within Ashburn itself, in its little capsule, there is not a ton of traffic. But as soon as you venture outside of Ashburn, that can be a different story. I do see during peak commute times, Loudoun County Parkway and Ryan Road in Ashburn, they do tend to back up. It can be a slow go for, mile and a half, not too crazy. But overall, within Ashburn, traffic is not too bad. You can go from one end of Ashburn all the way to the other in no more than 15, max of 20 minutes, and that's if you hit all the lights going from one side to the other. Outside of Ashburn, though, that's definitely going to be another story. If you're headed into, say, Tyson's Corner or Washington, D.C., during peak times, you are absolutely going to hit traffic. It's a way of life in Northern Virginia, and it's a con that I list in all of our pros and cons video. It doesn't matter what the city is. It's just something that we deal with here in Northern Virginia. Con number four is the airport noise. Ashburn is very close to Dulles Airport, and Dulles is a busy airport. On average, there are 60,000 passengers a day going through Dulles, so that gives you an idea of just how many planes are taking off and landing. And when you're inside your home in Ashburn, you are not likely to hear anything. I have clients that live in Ashburn Farm, Ashburn Village. Those homes were built in the 90s, and some of my clients still have original windows, and they say when they're inside, they can't hear anything. But when you're outside, and depending on what neighborhood you're in, that could be a different story. The planes are loud, the planes are frequent, and it just comes with life in Ashburn. I'm in Ashburn a lot. I don't even hear it anymore. I think I'm just desensitized and have gotten used to it. But if you are sensitive to loud noises or just don't want planes overhead, it's definitely going to be a con for Ashburn. Now let's get into the pros about living in Ashburn, which far outweigh the cons. And first up is Metro. And this is big news for Ashburn because the Ashburn Metro station just opened a few months ago. It was long awaited. Construction took far longer than ever estimated, but it's here and it's open, and that is huge news for residents of Ashburn. There is the Ashburn station, there's Loudoun Gateway, and then now Metro goes all the way out to Dulles Airport. So huge for the area, makes commuting a lot more convenient, whether you are headed into the city or if you're just headed to the airport. You now have more options that you can hop on Metro if you don't want to drive. Pro number 2 is proximity to Dulles Airport. And of course, we mentioned in our cons that there is airport noise in Ashburn, but the upside to that is you are very close to Dulles Airport. So if you fly a lot, it would be very convenient to live in Ashburn. Depending on where you are not going to be any more than 10 to 15 minutes from Dulles Airport. Pro number 3 for Ashburn, and I don't get to say this one very much as it relates to Northern Virginia, is newer homes. Ashburn has much newer homes than, Arlington or Fairfax, Springfield, and Alexandria. 50% of the homes in Ashburn were built 2005 or later. So if you prefer newer construction or even new construction, there is still some building. Much of it has been built out, but new construction still is an option in certain areas in Ashburn. It is definitely a good option to look into. It's one of the few areas in Northern Virginia at this point that has newer construction. Pro number 4 is schools. Ashburn on niche.com has an A+ rating for their schools. And the Loudoun County school system in general is a well-ranked school system. I'm always going to give the disclosure of do your research and your due diligence. But even if you were to hop on, say, greatschools.org to look into Ashburn, you will see many of the schools are very highly rated, and it is certainly a kid and family-friendly area. I have a lot of clients who have opted to move further west to be in Ashburn specifically for their highly sought after schools. Pro number 4 is One Loudoun, and One Loudoun has recently become known as the downtown area of Ashburn, and that's something that Ashburn was really lacking over the years. I remember growing up in the Leesburg area and driving past Ashburn. It used to be farms and fields, so it's come a long way. But it was really lacking a downtown area where you could dine and shop and take in a movie. And One Loudoun has filled that void. It's a fantastic place to go if you want to grab a bite to eat or go to a happy hour or get some shopping in, and you have the movie theater there. Lots going on all the time at One Loudoun. You can also check out the farmers market. It is a massive farmers market that goes on there as well. And it's really a place that the community comes together and congregates because there's something for everyone. In addition to all the pros that I've covered, Ashburn also has wineries, it has breweries. If you want to head to Leesburg and stroll around downtown Leesburg, you're only 10 or 15 minutes away. You could also head further west towards Aldie, Bluemont, Middleburg if you want access to even more wineries. Ashburn is the kind of place that you may have to leave to go to work, but aside from that, you have everything you could possibly need as far as daily needs, in addition to shopping, dining, and entertainment. It really has the best of all worlds, and now that Metro is there, that's become another big selling point as well. If you have any questions about Ashburn, drop me a comment below, and as always, whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, reach out on social, whatever works for you. We've got your back when you're making that move to Northern Virginia. Until next time, we hope to show you around town.